Hello and welcome to Govinda's Garden. My name is Lee and I wish that I could grow fig trees for a living, but the truth of the matter is I have another full-time job where I work as a software engineer. In this video, I'm going to share 5 reasons why I choose to grow my own food. Reason number 1, it gives me a sense of purpose. Some of my friends and even myself at times have dealt with depression and kind of an apathetic viewpoint of the world. And I think that has a lot to do with just not feeling like you have a purpose. Like, what's the point of this life? Growing your own food, working with plants and trees can provide a wonderful sense of purpose. And that sense of purpose can really boost our level of happiness and our overall mental health. When you start a tomato plant, for example, from a seed, and you take that seed and you put it in some soil, and a few days later you see a little green thing start to come out, and then that green thing starts to grow taller and taller, and then as the weeks and months go by, the green thing produces flowers, and those flowers turn into tomatoes, and then you take a bite out of that tomato. That whole process is miraculous. And as the gardener, you are involved in that process from the beginning to the end. You get to put your hands on the seed, your hands in the soil, your hands on the fruit. You water it, you put it in the right environment. You have this responsibility to take care of it almost as if it was a child. That may seem like a lot of work to some people, but it could also be looked at as a wonderful sense of purpose and responsibility in this world to take care of something else. Because a lot of the times we can get depressed when we're just thinking about ourselves a lot and living in this kind of self-centered mentality. But as a gardener, it's not only about you, it's about your plants and it's about your environment and your garden. So being involved in these daily processes is almost like a way of changing a mindset into from like more it's all about me to it's about them. You can say it's an act of service. You're serving these plants, you're putting someone else before you. And it may seem counterintuitive, but when we serve others, it actually makes us happier and makes us feel more fulfilled. In our work as software engineers, we might write some code or come up with some design or troubleshoot some issue. And sometimes that feels good, right? To like solve a problem. But I don't know. For me personally, there's something special about the connection to the natural world and working with plants that gives a much more tangible sense of joy and responsibility. If we deploy some new feature, we may not really see the results of that work. Like some users may use it and not say anything. But when we plant a seed and we watch the tree grow, we get to see it with our eyes. We get to experience it in a tangible way. That's something we can't get behind a keyboard and computer screen. The second reason is that there is always something to learn. When I first started getting into software engineering, I was super passionate about it and I read so many books, went through so many tutorials, and I was just like obsessed with it. And I guess that's just kind of my personality. One thing that's cool about software engineering is that there's so many things to learn all the time. I mean, technology is always changing. There are a lot of different programming languages, different fields of software engineering and development. And if you like that about software engineering, you can also find that in gardening and growing your own food. There is so much to learn. And it's also unique to your environment. So the plants that I can grow here in North Carolina are different than plants that you might grow in India. The third reason is that I think I owe something to the planet. Pretty much everything I do has an impact on the planet. I can't really eloquently speak on the fly about the effects of, the effects we have on the planet, but I just know intuitively that I owe something back. We're living in this society that kind of neglects Mother Earth and doesn't treat it too well. There are a lot of documentaries and articles that can explain all the terrible things that are happening on our planet due to human activity and things like factory farming, monocrop farming, spraying Roundup, tilling the earth practices that are making a lot of us feel not too optimistic about the future of this planet. But one thing I do believe is that Mother Earth is incredibly resilient and can heal itself if we just kind of make some small changes. And one of the changes I am focusing on now is growing my own food. I don't grow all of the calories that I consume, but I grow a decent amount of them and I want to grow more. And I think if we all did that, it would have a profound impact on our planet at the climate change level, but also at our societal level and our mentality, and normalizing a practice that we've done for millennia, but has kind of became unusual. To me, growing my food, it deepens my relationship with Mother Earth, with the planet, with nature, with plants, trees, insects, microorganisms, all the different forms of life involved in growing food. And the more and more I do that, the more and more respect I have for the planet, and the more I want to give back and just rebuild and improve our relationship. The fourth reason are the physical health benefits. So, when you grow your own food, you obviously know what's in it. That's some clean food. You're really not going to get more high quality food than food that's grown in your yard or on your porch. The food is going to be much more nutritious. When you're picking a fruit ripe off of the tree, or you're picking a vegetable right off of that plant, and you're going inside and you're making a salad, or you're having a snack, or you're, cooking some soup, the level of nutrition is at its peak when a fruit is ripe on the tree. And you have an opportunity to do that if you have a fruit tree in your backyard. Besides the nutritional benefit from growing our food, gardening can be really good exercise too. When you have the responsibility of making sure your garden is watered, pruned, things like that, you have to go outside and you have to walk around with that hose, or with your clippers, and you're moving around. This is exercise you may not have gotten if you didn't have a garden. And if you're growing stuff outside, you're getting sunshine, vitamin D. This is stuff that's really good that maybe as a software engineer we're not getting a lot of. All of these things promote good health. The fifth and final reason I choose to grow my own food is that I find a deep sense of joy in observing change. I remember when I came back home from a 3-day trip this previous summer, and it was right in the middle of fig growing season. In this greenhouse, I used to have a bunch of fig trees. And I went away for 3 days, and on that last day, I was just so excited to get back home to see how things have changed over the past 3 days. Right now, it's winter and things have really slowed down. There's not a whole lot going on as far as new growth. But after the winter ends and we head into spring, it is such an exciting time to see the new buds starting to sprout, and to see the greenery come from after these months of winter. Before I got into gardening and growing food, it felt like sometimes in the morning I would wake up and just kind of be like, it's nothing, like same old same, just another morning. But with gardening and with having plants that you're growing, every day you get to look at them and see how they change. It's just something, as I said, very tangible, that as a software engineer, it's just not as interesting. I might have some code that's in use, and over the years someone makes a change to it, and oh, it changed that way. Pretty cool, pretty cool. But like, oh my gosh, look how big that fig got over the past 2 days. Like, it's just so much more fun. So that's pretty much it. There's 5 reasons why I am choosing to grow my own food and to do gardening. Yeah, I work as a software engineer full time, but it's good to have a hobby. And I think, a lot of people play video games or something like that, but there are just so many benefits of gardening, not only for yourself, but for the planet, for our society. I highly encourage you to get into that. If you don't know where to start, you're an engineer, you can figure it out. But I personally like fig trees, and you can propagate fig trees from branch cuttings. I have cuttings on my website for sale, but there are so many good places to get them. And I think the best place would probably be from a tree in your neighborhood, or doesn't have to be fig, but maybe you like persimmons, and right now is a good time for that. If you have persimmons in your area, you can collect some seeds and try to grow them yourself. You don't need a ton of space to garden. I know that's an obstacle for a lot of people. They think you need a ton of space or you need a bunch of acres to start growing food, but you really don't. You can start growing sprouts on your kitchen counter. You can grow a lot of food in a small patio space. So many resources available, but if you found this video and you want to get into gardening, I wish you the best of luck. And I mostly make content about gardening stuff and growing fruit trees and plants. So if you want to learn more, subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and stay tuned.